One of the first big shifts is to realize that we are not our thoughts. And the relationship you've been having with yourself has been based on this story of I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable and valuable. It's not true, it's just the download. As we start to explore the relationship with ourselves, one of the first big shifts is to realize that we are not our thoughts. And on the hero's journey, this is often the wake up. We wake up to the realization that we're more than our thoughts, to our pinhead, to our ego. And in neuroscience, this is called metacognition. It's a developmental stage for leadership development, personal development. When you get meta to the stories you're telling yourself, you realize you have choice. And you realize that the relationship you've been having with yourself has been based on this story of I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable and valuable. The more you get present with yourself and notice the inner critic, the sabotage, the judge, the controller, the seeking mind, all those different aspects of yourself, you start to realize that that's what's been going on. And remember, you are the sum of your habits, and your habits are the sum of the stories that you've been telling yourself. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are negative. 95% of your day is your subconscious mind. And because we've been running this programming, the neuroscience has discovered there's a part of our brain called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. And how it works is that whatever we're feeding into our brain, it will gather evidence to support it. So a simple example is you decide you're going to buy a blue car, and suddenly all you can see is blue cars. That's how it works. So if you've been running the story that I'm not good enough deep in your subconscious, this isn't something we wake up every day, look in the mirror and go, I'm not good enough. This is a fundamental programming. If you've been running that story, you're going to gather the evidence. There, I fucked up again. I've got money issues. She doesn't love me, whatever the story is. So as we start to change the story, we'll start to gather different evidence. Start to gather the evidence of how valuable and lovable you are, how amazing you are. Because this download, again, you think about it as young men, our whole identity and worth was based on our performance. The fundamental belief between the age of 0 to 7, think of it like the old original iPhone. It had an operating system, and that is the operating system we were given. Our brain was in theta brain, so it's a download, it's precognition, it's an energetic download where we get these messages about them. And these messages are that inherently you're not valuable and lovable just as you are. You've got to perform, you've got to do, you've got to prove, you've got to be somebody different. It's not true, it's just the download. And most people are trying to operate the latest iPhone with that same operating system. That's why leadership development, executive coaching rarely works, because all it's doing is helping the ego perform better. It's giving the ego more skills. The limited ego is our fearful thinking. The limited ego is all of those thoughts that we identify with. Most people, even in senior roles, are still living their life identifying themselves through those thoughts. In fact, that's often what's got them there. That drive to prove their self-worth comes from the not good enough, yet it's not sustainable. And because our identity, our ego conversation is attached to that, we disconnect from our true selves. You think about it, if you go somewhere and someone says, what's the first question someone says to you? what do you do? Yeah, I'm a lawyer, I'm a father, I'm a husband. We identify, we meet each other, we converse based on our doing. That's not who you are. And when you start to reflect on that question and start to go a little bit deeper, you start to realize that the doing is part of the human experience, but who I am fundamentally is love. And this is the big shift. For those of you with children, when a child is born, when your child was born, what did you see? What did you experience? Often we just see love and innocence. And it's the truth about every human being. There's a part of you that is love, unconditional love. And all we're doing is remembering and reconnecting with that part of you. You're not fucked up. You're not broken. You're not wounded. And some people pick this up when they start noticing the thoughts and think, I've got to do years of therapy. I've got to do all this work on myself. And that may be useful. Yet again, it's still keeping the truth away from you. When I get healed, then I'll be good enough. When I do more therapy, then I'll be okay. And in the business world, when my business succeeds, then I'll be valuable. And if you can make that shift, you can realize that there's a part of you that is love right now, and reconnect with that, everything shifts. And that was my journey. My journey as a lawyer, 4 children, successful practice, beautiful wife. Yet in my 20s and 30s, I'd lost touch with myself. I was performing. I was a lawyer. I was building a business. I was a husband. And whilst I was successful, yet there was no authenticity. There was no real me. And the big shift for me in my 30s is I took myself into nature. I went on a retreat for 3 weeks, just backpacking on my own, in northern Queensland. And it was challenging. The first week was very challenging. I wanted to go home. It's the first time I'd been away from the family that long. Yet slowly but surely, through journaling, through silence, didn't have a lot of interaction with other people, I started to notice and let these thoughts dissolve. I started to settle more into myself. I started to connect with the frequency and vibration of nature. And I reconnected with my essence, with the truth of who I am. And that's where relationship mastery starts. This journey is about reconnecting with your essence. If we dissolve all the illusion, all the ego constructs, all the not good enough, and we taste and touch the truth of who we are. And when you reconnect with that, I'm going to show you how to embody it. Because 85% of change comes from the neck down. The first step is to notice the conversation, the thoughts, I'm not good enough, and to change those. The shift is from I'm not good enough because I'm not lovable and valuable to I'm okay, I am valuable. And whilst that shift initially is cognitive, once you learn how to embody it and live it, then that informs all of your life. This isn't a bolt-on. This isn't I go and do a workshop and then I go back to my life. This informs, this becomes the fabric of your life. You connect with your essence. You bring your essence to all your external relationships through practice, through support. And all traditional cultures knew this. All traditional cultures had a daily reflective practice to withdraw the senses. Because our senses are in overload. They're taking us out of ourselves. We're being stimulated. We're being distracted. Our busy mind, our thinking mind is valued over our feelings, over our intuition. To embody this concept, it's got to be cognitive, the head, emotional, the heart, and somatic, the hara. That's alignment. That's authenticity. That's what this journey's about for us.